Captain Park Jasu stood on the bridge of the horizon and stared at the stars through the main window. She had been in space for 15 years, but the view still made her feel small. The ship was 3 days away from Earth, exploring a region of space that no human had ever visited before. "Captain, I am picking up something strange," said Lieutenant Kim Do-yeon from his station. He was the weapons officer, a young man with sharp eyes and quick hands. "There are ships ahead." "Many ships." Park Jasu walked over to his screen. The display showed at least 50 vessels in a formation that looked military. These were not human ships. The designs were completely alien. "Dr. Yoon," the captain called out. "Come look at this." Dr. Yoon Hana hurried over from her station. She was the ship's language expert, trained to communicate with any species they might encounter. Her younger brother worked on the science vessel that traveled with them, and she often waved to him through the communication screens. "I have never seen anything like these ships," Hana said softly. "They are beautiful and terrifying." The communication system suddenly activated on its own. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in a language that sounded like grinding metal and flowing water at the same time. Then, after a moment, it switched to broken English. "Human vessel. You enter Galactic Council space. You will stop. You will surrender. You will pay tribute to the Council." Park Jasu felt her stomach tighten. She looked at her crew. Everyone was frozen in place. "This is Captain Park Jasu of the Earthship Horizon," she replied, keeping her voice calm. "We come in peace. We did not know this space belonged to anyone. We are happy to talk." There was a long silence. Then a new voice came through, smoother and more confident. "I am Ambassador Threll of the Vexery Collective. I speak for the Galactic Council. Your planet was surveyed 10,000 years ago. Your species was rated as primitive and no threat. It seems you have grown, but you are still children. The Council rules this galaxy. All species pay tribute or face destruction." Park Jasu exchanged looks with Do-yeon. 10,000 years ago, humans were still building pyramids. How long had these aliens been watching? "Ambassador Threll," she said carefully, "Earth knows nothing of your council. We have only recently learned to travel between stars. Surely we can discuss this peacefully. We have no wish for conflict." Threll laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Discussion? You do not discuss with insects. You step on them or you ignore them. The Council has decided not to ignore you any longer. You will surrender your ship. Your planet will provide workers and resources. This is not a request." Park Jasu felt anger rising in her chest, but she pushed it down. She was a captain. She had to think clearly. "I cannot surrender my ship without authorization from Earth," she said. "Please let us contact our government. I'm sure we can find a solution that benefits everyone." "You misunderstand," Threll replied. "I am not asking for your agreement. I'm telling you what will happen. Perhaps you need a demonstration of council power." The screen showed one of the alien ships moving. It turned toward the small science vessel that traveled with the horizon. Park Jasu's heart stopped. That ship carried 47 people. It carried Hana's brother. "Ambassador, wait," she started. A beam of blue light shot from the alien ship. It struck the science vessel directly in the center. For 1 second, the small ship glowed like a star. Then it exploded. There was no sound in space, but Park Jasu heard Hana scream behind her. 40-7 people. Gone in an instant. "That was 847 humans," Threll said calmly. "Your science vessel and a small station we found at the edge of your system. Consider this a lesson. Now surrender." Park Jasu turned to look at Hana. The doctor had fallen to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She was shaking, staring at the screen where her brother's ship had been moments ago. Something changed inside Park Jasu. The fear was still there, but now there was something else. Something harder. "Lieutenant Kim," she said quietly, "can we escape?" Do-yeon studied his screens. His hands were trembling, but his voice was steady. "Maybe if we go to maximum speed right now and use the gas giant ahead for cover, we might lose them." Their ships are bigger, probably slower. Do it! The Horizon jumped forward. The alien ships started to follow, but Doyun had been right. The human ship was faster, more agile. They dove toward the gas giant, using its gravity to swing around and shoot off in a different direction. The alien fleet tried to follow, but slowly they fell behind. After 6 hours of running, the Horizon was alone in empty space. Park Jisu finally let herself breathe. Captain, Doyun said, we need to warn Earth, if that fleet comes to our system. I know. She looked at the crew around her. They were scared. They were angry. They had just watched hundreds of their people die for no reason. Set course for home. Maximum speed. She walked over to where Hannah still sat on the floor. The doctor looked up at her with red eyes. They killed him, Hannah whispered. They killed Junho. He was just a scientist. He never hurt anyone. Park Jisu knelt down beside her. I know, I am sorry. I am so sorry. What are we going to do? Park Jisu helped her stand. She looked around at her crew, at these people who trusted her to lead them. We are going to go home, she said. We are going to tell everyone what happened here. And then... She paused, thinking about the alien ambassador's arrogant voice, the casual way he had murdered innocent people. Then Earth is going to decide how to respond. The Horizon turned toward home. Behind them, somewhere in the darkness, the Galactic Council waited. They thought the matter was settled. They thought humans would do what every other species had done, bow down and obey. They were wrong, in the days that followed. As the ship raced back to Earth, Park Jisu played the recording of Threll's message over and over. She studied every word, every tone. These aliens had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. They had never faced real resistance. They had forgotten what it meant to fight. Someone who had nothing left to lose, Earth was about to remind them. Admiral Choi Sunwoo stood in the war room deep beneath Seoul. Around him sat the most powerful military leaders on Earth on the main screen. Captain Park Jisu's recording played for the 10th time. Every person in the room had already memorized it. But they kept watching because they still could not believe it. You will surrender. You will pay tribute. You do not discuss with insects. The recording ended. Silence filled the room. 2,000 ships, Admiral Choi said finally. That is what our long-range sensors show. They will be here in 72 hours. General Hong Murray leaned forward. And we have 200 ships. Admiral, what are we supposed to do? Choi Sunwoo was 63 years old. He had fought in the Mars Rebellion 20 years ago. He had seen terrible things, but nothing had prepared him for this. We have two choices, he said. Surrender or fight? If we surrender, we become slaves, said Director Lee Minji. She was the head of Earth Intelligence, a small woman with cold eyes and a brilliant mind. I have been studying the Council's communications for years. We broke their codes a long time ago. They do not want partners. They want servants. Species that submit to them, work in their mines, fight in their wars, die for their comfort. That is what awaits us if we give up. And if we fight? General Hong asked. We lose. 200 against 2,000. Director Lee smiled. It was not a warm smile. Maybe not. She pressed a button and new information appeared on the screen. It showed Council battle records going back thousands of years. The Galactic Council has not fought a real war in 3,000 years, she said. The last time they faced serious resistance, it took them 400 years to win. After that, every species just surrendered immediately. They have become lazy. Their tactics are old. Their weapons have not improved in centuries. They think they do not need to improve. They think their power alone is enough. Admiral Choi studied the data. You are saying they are weak. I am saying they are unprepared. They have never fought humans. They do not know what we can do. The door opened and a young man entered. He was Engineer Baek Tae-young, the head of Earth's weapons development program. He looked nervous but also excited. Admiral, Director Lee asked me to come. She said you need to see Project Thunderstrike. For the next hour, Beek Taeyong explained what Earth had been building in secret. Kinetic weapons that used asteroids as ammunition. MP bombs that could disable any electronic system. Stealth technology that made ships invisible to sensors. Nuclear missiles with intelligent guidance systems. The Council uses energy shields, Beek explained. They are very good at stopping laser beams and plasma weapons, but they are not designed for physical impacts. A rock traveling at half the speed of light will go through their shields like paper. Admiral Choi felt something he had not felt since the recording started. Hope. How many of these weapons do we have? Enough, Beek said. If we are smart about how we use them. The planning took 2 days. Director Lee worked with her team to identify Council weaknesses. Engineer Beek prepared the weapons. Admiral Choi organized the fleet. Captain Park Ji-soo came to the command center on the second day. She had dark circles under her eyes. She had not slept much since returning to Earth. Admiral, she said, I want the Horizon to lead the attack. Choi Sun-woo looked at her carefully. Captain, you have already done enough. Your warning saved us. You could stay back, coordinate from here? No, her voice was firm. Those aliens killed 847 people in front of me. They laughed while they did it. I need to be there. My crew needs to be there. The Admiral nodded slowly. He understood. Some things could not be done from a distance. Very good. The Horizon will lead the first strike. On the third day, the Council fleet arrived. They came out of faster-than-light travel near Mars, exactly where Director Lee had predicted. 2,000 warships, each one larger than anything Earth had ever built. They spread out in a formation that covered half the sky, then the message came. People of Earth, I am High Arbiter Morath of the Galactic Council. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Your leaders will present themselves to us for judgment. Your military will disband. Your population will be assigned work duties as the Council sees fit. If you do not comply, we will destroy your planet. This is your only warning. Admiral Choi stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Seoul. Around him, his officers waited for orders. In space around Earth and Mars, 200 human ships waited with them. He thought about his children, his grandchildren, everyone on Earth who was counting on him to make the right choice. Then he opened a channel to the entire fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Choi. You have heard what they want. They want us to kneel. They want us to give up everything our ancestors built. They want to take our future away. He paused, looking at the screen showing the massive enemy fleet. I will not kneel. Earth will not kneel. In a few hours we are going to attack. Some of us will die. Maybe many of us. But we will show these aliens something they have forgotten. We will show them what happens when you threaten someone's home. He straightened his uniform and spoke the words that would be remembered for generations. They think we are insects. Let us show them what insects can do when you step on the hive. All ships, prepare for battle. We attack at dawn. Across the fleet, men and women checked their weapons and said goodbye to their families. Engineers made final adjustments to the new weapons. Pilots climbed into their fighters. On the horizon, Captain Park Ji-soo looked at her crew. Kim Do-yeon was at his weapons station, calm and ready. Dr. Yoon Hana had refused to leave the ship. She stood at her post, her face pale but determined. Whatever happens, Park Ji-soo told them, I am proud to serve with you. Earth's sun began to rise over the planet. In a few hours, humanity would do something no species had done in 3,000 years. They would fight back. The first phase of the attack began in silence. 20 small ships slipped away from Earth's fleet. They were painted black, covered in materials that absorbed sensor signals. Engineer Beek Taeyong had called them ghost ships. They were completely invisible to Council. Technology. Captain Park Ji-soo watched from the horizon as the ghost ships moved toward the enemy fleet. The Council had no idea they were coming. Phase 1 is in position, Director Lee reported from Earth Command. Ghost ships are approaching Council sensor stations. Admiral Choi's voice came through the communication system. All ships, hold position. Wait for my signal. The ghost ships reached the Council sensor network. These were the eyes and ears of the alien fleet, the stations that watched for any threat. One by one, the ghost ships attached small devices to them. Devices in place, came the report. Activate. 20 MP bombs exploded at the same time. There was no fire, no dramatic light show. Just a pulse of electromagnetic energy that spread through the Council fleet like a wave. Every sensor station went dark. The Council fleet was blind. On High Arbiter Moreth's flagship, alarms started screaming. Officers ran to their stations, shouting in confusion. What happened? Moreth demanded. He was a tall creature with gray skin and 4 arms, wearing robes covered in medals from wars he had never actually fought. Where's my sensor data? Gone, High Arbiter. All stations are offline. We cannot see anything. That is impossible. Our systems are protected against... He never finished the sentence. Phase 2 had begun. From the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, something was coming. Earth had spent months preparing this attack. They had moved 50 large asteroids into position, attached engines to them, and aimed them at the Council fleet. Now, those asteroids were traveling at half the speed of light. The first asteroid hit a Council battleship in the center of their formation. The shields did nothing. Energy shields were designed to stop energy weapons, not a rock the size of a building moving at impossible speed. The battleship simply ceased to exist. Then the second asteroid hit. And the third. And the fourth dot in the first 60 seconds. 50 Council ships were destroyed. The aliens did not even understand what was happening. They fired their weapons at empty space, unable to see where the attack was coming from. Now, Admiral Troy ordered, all ships attack. The Horizon led the charge. Captain Park Jasu pushed her ship to maximum speed, heading straight into the chaos. Around her, 200 human ships followed, weapons firing. Lieutenant Kim, she said, target the nearest destroyer. Full missile spread. Kim Do-yeon's hands moved across his controls. Missiles away. 12 missiles shot from the Horizon. These were not ordinary missiles. They were nuclear weapons with guidance systems smart enough to find weak points in any ship. The missiles hit the Council destroyer in 6 different places. The explosions tore the ship apart from the inside. Target destroyed, Do-yeon reported. There was no celebration in his voice. Just focus. Moving to next target. All around them, the battle raged. Human ships darted between the larger Council vessels, too fast and small to hit easily. The aliens were used to fighting in formations, moving slowly and relying on their superior firepower. They had no idea how to handle enemies that moved like this. They fight like insects, one Council commander said in a transmission that Earth intelligence intercepted. Random, unpredictable. Then we will swat them. Another replied, but the swatting was not going well. Human ships used the Council's own vessels as cover, hiding behind them and attacking from unexpected angles. When Council ships fired at them, they often hit their own allies instead. Director Lee watched from Earth Command, coordinating the battle. Concentrate fire on their command ships, she ordered. Cut off the head. The Horizon and 12 other ships turned toward High Arbiter Moreth's flagship. It was the largest ship in the fleet, covered in gold decorations and ceremonial markings. It was very impressive. It was also a very easy target. Captain, Do-yeon said, I am reading heavy shields on that ship. Our missiles might not get through. Park Jasu studied the flagship on her screen. The shields were strong, but they had a flaw. They had to open slightly to allow the ship's own weapons to fire. Wait for them to shoot at us, she said. Then send everything we have through the gap. The flagship's weapons charged. Park Jasu watched the energy building, waiting for the exact right moment. Now, Do-yeon fired every weapon the Horizon had. Missiles, kinetic rounds, everything. They poured through the gap in the shields. Just as the flagship fired its own weapons, the Horizon shook as enemy fire grazed its hull, but the damage was minor. The damage to the flagship was not. Explosions ripped through the alien vessel. Entire sections broke away and tumbled into space. But the ship did not die. It was too large, too heavily armored. The flagship is still active, Do-Yun reported. Shields are coming back up. Park Jasu felt frustration building. They had heard it, but not enough. Then a voice came through the communication system. It was Lieutenant Kim Do-Yun, but he was not speaking to her. He was broadcasting to the entire fleet. Captain, I am transferring weapons control to the secondary station. Officer Yun will take over. What? Why? Do-Yun was already standing up from his chair. He walked to the door of the bridge. That flagship needs to die, Captain? I'm going to make sure it does. Lieutenant, stop. That is in order. He turned back to look at her. His face was calm, almost peaceful. My parents died when the Council destroyed our listening post. My sister was on the science vessel. I have nothing left to lose, Captain. But Earth does. Let me do this. Before she could respond, he was gone. 3 minutes later, a small shuttle launched from the horizon. It carried Do-Yun and a single weapon, the largest nuclear bomb Earth had ever built. He flew straight at the flagship, moving too fast for the aliens to track. He found the hole the horizon had made in the hull and flew inside. The explosion lit up the sky. Hi! Arbiter Morith's flagship broke into 1,000,000 pieces. Do-Yun was gone. But so was the Council's commander. The alien fleet fell into chaos. Without Morath, without their sensors, without their confidence, they did not know what to do. Some ships tried to fight. Others tried to run. All ships, press the attack, Admiral Choi ordered. Do not let them escape. For 4 more hours, the battle continued. When it finally ended, more than 600 Council ships were destroyed. Earth had lost 89 ships and thousands of people, but they had won. The remaining Council vessels fled. Jumping to faster-than-light speed and disappearing into the darkness, Captain Park Jasu stood on the bridge of the horizon, looking at the wreckage floating in space. So many dead. So much destruction. Dr. Yoon Hana came to stand beside her. We won, Hana said quietly. We actually won, yes. Park Jasu's voice was tired. But this is not over. They will come back. And next time, they will be ready. Hannah nodded slowly. Then we need to be ready too. On Earth, people were celebrating. They did not know yet about the cost. They only knew that the impossible had happened. Humanity had fought back against the Galactic Council, and humanity had won. News of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy like fire on 100 different worlds. Aliens watched recordings of the battle. They saw the mighty Council fleet torn apart by a species they had never heard of. They saw High Arbiter Morith's flagship explode. They saw the impossible become real. For the first time in 3,000 years, someone had said no to the Galactic Council. And they had survived. On the Council's homeworld of Nexera, the ruling chamber was in chaos. This cannot stand, shouted Councillor Vrex of the Torani Empire. He was a large creature with red scales and a temper to match. These humans must be destroyed. Send every ship we have. Burn their planet to ash, and lose more ships? Replied Councillor Veth of the Siler. She was old, her blue skin wrinkled with age, but her mind was still sharp. We lost 600 vessels to a species we considered primitive. What happens if we send more and lose those too? Then we send more after that? The Council has unlimited resources. No, we do not. Veth's voice was tired. We have not built new warships in 500 years. We stopped because we thought we did not need them. We were wrong. The argument continued for hours. Some councilors wanted total war. Others wanted to negotiate. A few suggested ignoring Earth completely and hoping the problem went away. But there was one thing they all agreed on. This could not stand. If Earth was allowed to defy the Council, other species would get ideas. In the end, they chose war. We will gather every ship from every member world, declared the new High Arbiter, a cold creature named Solrith. 10,000 vessels. We will not just defeat Earth, we will erase them. We will make sure no one ever defies the Council again. This will be called the cleansing. On Earth, Director Lee Minji intercepted the message within hours. She brought it to Admiral Choi immediately. He read it 3 times, his face growing darker each time. 10,000 ships, he said quietly. We cannot fight that. No, Director Lee agreed. Not alone. She brought up a map of the galaxy on the screen. It showed the Council's territory, a vast area covering thousands of star systems. But it also showed something else, cracks. The Council is not as united as they pretend, she explained. Many species joined because they had no choice. They were conquered or threatened into membership. They hate the Council. They have been waiting for a chance to break free. And our victory gave them that chance. Yes, I have already been contacted by representatives from 2 civilizations. The Relari and the Tethan. They want to help us. Admiral Troy studied the map. What kind of help? Information for now. The location of Council shipyards. Fleet movements. Weaknesses in their defenses. But if we show that we can win, really win, more will join us. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Then we need to show them. We cannot wait for the Council to come to us. We need to take the fight to them. The next 3 months changed everything, Commander. Ogier led a new fleet of fast attack ships on raids deep into Council territory. She was young for a commander, only 32, but she had proven herself in the first battle. Now she proved herself again and again. Her first target was a shipyard near the Turani border. The Council thought it was safe, protected by distance and a defensive fleet. Commander O attacked at night, local time. When the workers were sleeping and the guards were lazy, her ships came out of faster-than-light travel, already firing. They destroyed 15 ships that were still being built, along with the construction facilities. Then they vanished before reinforcements could arrive. Hit and run, Commander O told her crews. We are not here to hold territory. We are here to make them afraid. She hit 2 more shipyards that month. Then supply stations. Then communication centers. Everywhere she went, she left destruction behind. The Council could not catch her. They were too slow, too predictable. By the time they responded to one attack, she was already hitting somewhere else. Back on Earth, Dr. Shinenbi made a breakthrough that changed the war. She was a young scientist, quiet and brilliant, who had been working on Council communications since the war began. One night, she finally cracked their most secure codes. I can read their military transmissions, she told Director Lee. All of them. Battle plans, fleet positions, everything. Now Earth knew what the Council was doing almost before the Council knew itself, and Counselor Veth reached out. The old Siler sent a secret message to Earth, using codes she knew Director Lee had broken. It was a risk. If the Council discovered her betrayal, she would be executed. The cleansing fleet is gathering, her message said. 10,000 ships at the Nexara staging area. They will launch in 60 days. But that is not the worst part. They have activated the Void Hammer. Admiral Choi had never heard of the Void Hammer. Neither had anyone else on Earth. It is an ancient weapon, Counselor Veth explained in her next message. Built long ago, used only once. It destroys planets. The Council plans to use it on Earth if your fleet is not defeated in battle. They want to make an example. A weapon that could destroy planets. Earth had no defense against something like that. Then we cannot let the battle happen near Earth, Admiral Troy decided. We need to attack them at Nexara. We need to destroy the Void Hammer before they can use it. It was an insane plan. Nexara was the Council's homeworld, the most heavily defended place in the galaxy. Attacking it with Earth's small fleet would be suicide, but they were not going alone. The Relari joined first. They were a small species, but they had many ships, and they hated the Council with a passion born from centuries of abuse. Then the Tethan. Then others. By the time the fleet was ready to launch, Earth had allies from 12 different civilizations. Their combined force was still smaller than the Council's, but it was larger than anyone had expected. Captain Park Jasu, now promoted to Admiral Park, would command the attack. She stood before her officers on the bridge of the horizon, looking at the faces of humans and aliens working together. In a few hours we will jump to Nexara, she said. Many of us will not come back. But if we succeed, we will end the Council's tyranny forever. We will free the galaxy. She looked at Dr. Yoon Hannah, who had refused to leave her side through all of this. The doctor nodded slightly, her face determined. All ships, Park Ji-soo announced. Prepare to jump. The fleet vanished into faster-than-light travel, heading for the heart of enemy territory, heading for the final battle. The Allied fleet came out of faster-than-light travel above Nexora, and Admiral Park Ji-soo saw what they were facing. 10,000 Council ships filled the space around the planet. They were arranged in perfect formations, weapons charged, shields raised. Behind them, the planet itself glowed with the lights of 1 trillion beings, and in the center of the formation, something massive waited. It was not a ship. It was a weapon. The Void Hammer. It looked like a dark moon, covered in metal plates and energy collectors. Even from this distance, Park Ji-soo could feel its power. This was the thing that would destroy Earth if they failed. All ships begin attack pattern Alpha, she ordered. Focus on clearing a path to the Void Hammer. That is our only objective. The battle began, human ships and their alien allies pushed into the Council formation. Weapons fire filled space with light. Ships exploded on both sides. Admiral Choi Sun-woo commanded from his flagship, the Seoul, directing the overall battle. He was calm, focused, watching the tactical display and giving orders. Relari wings, push forward on the left flank. Tethan cruisers, support the center. Earth destroyers, keep pressure on their right. The Allies fought well. The Council had numbers, but the Allies had surprise and determination. Slowly, painfully, they pushed forward. Commander Oga led her fast attack ships through gaps in the enemy formation. Destroying cruisers and battleships from behind, Dr. Shin Yunbi fed them constant updates from intercepted Council communications, telling them where the enemy was weak, but the Council was not falling apart like before. High Arbiter Solrath was a better commander than Morith had been. He kept his fleet organized, plugged gaps as they formed, and slowly began to push the Allies back. We are taking too many losses, Admiral Choi reported. We need to reach that weapon soon, or we will not reach it at all. Park Ji-soo looked at the Void Hammer on her screen. It was still far away, protected by the densest part of the Council fleet. I am taking the horizon through, she decided. We will clear the way. Admiral, you will not survive that. Maybe not. But if we do not stop that weapon, no one survives. She pushed the horizon forward at maximum speed. The ship had been upgraded since the first battle, given heavier weapons and stronger shields, but it was still small compared to the Council battleships around it. They dove into the enemy formation. Lieutenant Yoon Hannah had taken over the weapons station after Kim Do-yeon's death, and she proved she had learned from him. Her fire was precise and deadly, taking out one ship after another. Enemy destroyer at 3 o'clock, someone called. I see it, Hannah replied. She fired, and the destroyer broke apart. The horizon kept pushing forward. Other ships followed, human and alien together. They were carving a path through the Council fleet. Then the Void Hammer activated energy, began gathering in the weapons core. It glowed brighter and brighter, building power for a shot that would cross the galaxy and turn Earth into rubble. We are out of time, Park Ji-soo said. All ships, concentrate everything on that weapon. Every Allied ship that could fire turned toward the Void Hammer. Missiles, kinetic rounds, energy beams, everything poured toward it. The shots hit the weapon's shields and bounced off. The Void Hammer was too heavily protected. No effect, Hannah reported. Her voice was tight with fear. Admiral, our weapons cannot get through. Park Ji-soo stared at the massive weapon charging up to kill her home. There had to be a way. There was always a way. Then a voice came through the communication system. Admiral Park, this is Admiral Choi. I am taking the Seoul in. Tell Earth ... Tell my family I love them. Before she could respond, the Seoul turned toward the Void Hammer and accelerated to maximum speed. The flagship was badly damaged from the battle, trailing smoke and fire. But its engines still worked. Admiral Choi pushed them beyond their limits, driving toward the weapon. Council ships tried to stop him. The Seoul's guns fired back, clearing a path. Closer and closer, the soul hit the Void Hammer's power core at full speed. The explosion was like a star being born. Energy ripped through space, destroying everything nearby. Council ships, allied ships. Everything within 1,000 kilometers was simply erased. When the light faded, the Void Hammer was gone. And so was Admiral Choi Sun-woo. The battle stopped. For a long moment, both fleets just hung in space, shocked by what had happened. Then, slowly, something changed in the Council formation. Ships began to surrender. First one, then 10, then hundreds. They shut down their weapons and sent messages of capitulation. High Arbiter Solruth tried to rally them, ordering them to keep fighting. But no one listened anymore. The Void Hammer had been their ultimate threat, their guarantee of victory. Now it was gone. The Council had lost. On the surface of Nexura, the ruling chamber erupted in chaos. Some counselors fled. Others tried to negotiate. A few attempted to fight to the end, but Counselor Veth simply walked out to meet the Allied ships as they landed. "It is over," she told Admiral Park when they met. "The Council will surrender. We will accept whatever terms you demand." Park Jasu looked at this old alien who had risked everything to help them. "We do not want revenge," she said. "We want freedom. For everyone." The negotiations took weeks. In the end, the Galactic Council was dissolved. In its place, a new Galactic Assembly was formed. Every species had equal representation. Every voice mattered. Earth took its seat not as a conqueror, but as a founder. On the day of the first assembly meeting, Admiral Park Jasu gave a speech. She stood before representatives of 100 different species, in a chamber where humans had been considered insects just 1 year before. "We did not fight because we wanted power," she said. "We fought because you gave us no choice. We fought to protect our home. We fought for freedom." She paused, looking at the faces around her. Allies who had become friends. Former enemies learning to trust. Remember this, not as a threat, but as a promise. Humanity will never bow. But we will always extend our hand in friendship first. Let us build something better together. The chamber was silent for a moment. Then the Rilari representative began to clap. The Tefan joined in. Then others and others until the whole chamber was applauding. 5 years later, Dr. Yoon Hana stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was a science vessel, built for exploration, crewed by humans and aliens working together. "Where should we go first?" her navigator asked. Hannah looked at the stars. So many of them. So much to discover. "Anywhere," she said, smiling. "Everywhere. Let us find out what is out there." And on Mars a memorial stood. It was simple, a black wall with names. Humans and aliens who had died in the war. Kim Do-yeon was there. Admiral Choi Sun-woo. Thousands of others. People came from across the galaxy to see it. They read the names and remembered what had been sacrificed. At the base of the memorial, words were carved in 100 different languages. They were small, but they reminded us that small things can shake the universe. Earth was no longer alone. The galaxy was no longer a prison. And humanity had found its place among the stars.